Okay, well, it's another weekend of Ttpfl football coming up. Let's have a chat. Let's take a look at what's been happening, what's going to happen. I'm recent Bolai for Hail Carib-Sport. For those of you who have been sending me your messages and so on, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Let's support local football. Well, last week, all the football was played on one day. It was a Thursday, and this was really because the 17th, I believe, was the date because of the upcoming Easter weekend. Nobody's fault. So we only got to see two matches on TV. But let's look at the results. Let's look at the tables, and let's see what's going to be happening. Results. Eagles in the bottom of the table clash beat Point 14-1. No surprise there. Somebody had to win. The Eagles won that game. Spare thought for Eagles. Their owner died last year. Most teams would have left this league. And I don't know if they'll be here next year. They had some surprising results last year, despite being at the bottom of the table, near the bottom. But looks like no surprises much this year. Central beat 1976 Phoenix 3-0. Again, not surprising. Phoenix playing some good ball, but all their matches are away from home, and they have been struggling. Rangers versus Police. Well, Rangers in their previous game drew with Defence Force 2-all. Against Police, they went down 4-2 at La Hoquita. And then there was Defence Force versus AC Port of Spain. This was a very interesting game. The weekend before, AC Port of Spain defaulted their game against Central. Players went on strike for not being paid. Also, Port of Spain had not been playing that well for most of the year after losing three key players in December, January. So you had to wonder psychologically what kind of team was going to show up regarding AC Port of Spain. Well, AC Port of Spain showed up and handled their business, and in a very competitive match and a difficult match for Defence Force, they drew 1-all. Now Defence Force has drawn their last two games with Rangers and Port of Spain. Their aura of invincibility has diminished somewhat, and their opponents must be inspired by this. But Defence Force still undefeated, still at the top of the table. Then you had Cali versus Sandu. Well, Cali and Prisons were an embarrassment. First of all, Cali versus Sandu. I said in previous videos, Cali's playing well. They're not bad. They could be a dark horse. Mathematically, I could see them maybe hitting fourth spot. I believe Sandu was just behind them, around 5th and 6th in the table. Well, Sandu hammered them 5-0. 4-0 at the half and 5-0. Lord knows what happened in that game. Very little information regarding that game. Did Cali get a red card? Did their first keeper not play? What happened? If anybody wants to tell me. But Cali, they got beaten badly. Now Prisons. I was telling people, Prisons is near the bottom. They're around 10th in the table, and they're not that bad. They play better than their standings. Some technical difficulties there, but back to Prisons. Okay, so Prisons FC, they don't play that badly. They're better than they suggest on the table. They're better than some of their score lines indicate. Their previous match, they lost to Police 3-0. They were 1-0 down for most of the match, playing okay, not badly. Two silly defensive blunders late in the match, 3-0, did not indicate the competitive nature of Prisons. Well, I said, against anybody except Defence Force and Samoa, I gave Prisons a 50-50 chance of winning. Prisons' next match was against Samoa. What do Prisons do? They're down 1-0 in the first half, come back, bam, leading 2-1 in the second half, only for Samoa to score late in the half and equalize the game. 2-all, Samoa versus Prisons, a very nice result for Prisons. I don't think most people saw that coming. Obviously, this Prisons team has some bad mind. I really like, I keep mentioning it, two of their players, Figuera and Jeremiah Vidal. This team has quickly become my favorite underdog team. No bias, I'm from the West, they're an East team, but everybody likes to see an underdog team do well. Now, let's look at the upcoming matches for this weekend and see what's happening. Okay, on Friday, at the Arima Velodrome, you've got Sandu versus Central. A competitive game on paper, but Central should have the edge in this. They have better firepower. Then you've got Defence Force versus Sandu. Obviously, that is wrong. Without a doubt, that's wrong. It's Defence Force versus Cali. Late at night, your boy tired. All right. Defence Force versus Cali. Now, Cali got hammered in the last match against Sandu. They were 5-0 beaten. Cali has brought in some good players. They're playing a better brand of football. They're not looking that bad, and they're a competitive side. Now, normally you would say Defence Force. But Defence Force in their last two games has failed to win, and that has got to inspire Caledonia. And don't be surprised if they come with some more Lavantil Caledonia bad mind for them on Friday. All right, so again, I guess Defence Force is a logical choice, but it was logical choice last two matches for Defence Force, and that didn't work out for them. Then on Saturday, you go to the La Hokita Recreational Ground. It's Police versus Eagles. This should be an easy match for Police. Eagles have been having a bad time. This should be an easy. I would say if less than 3 goals for Police, something wrong. And then you got Prisons versus Rangers. La Hokita Saturday, and this is what I'm looking out for. I have to miss Friday's matches because of some work-related matters, but I am so happy I can see Saturdays because Prisons versus Rangers. Why is this an interesting match? As I said, Prisons plays better than their record suggests, better than the standings suggest. Asamoah. And Rangers, which Rangers will show up? Will it be the Rangers that drew with Defence Force 2-0 or the Rangers that lost 1 week later 4-2 to Police? It's going to be interesting. Rangers are on their home ground. They've got to have the edge. They've got the better players and they've got home ground advantage. But this is a sort of an Eastern derby. I think Prisons, win, lose or draw, will give them a good run. Prisons, don't go on lapse towards the end like it did with Police. All right? All right. As I said, becoming my favorite underdog team. And on Sunday at Ato Boldian, we got Samoa Jabloti versus Phoenix. Phoenix having a tough time, can't play home games. They'll have their moments, but Samoa should handle this. And then you got Point Fortin versus AC Port of Spain. I'm feeling bad. This looks like tap up. AC Port of Spain should easily handle this. If Point Fortin draws this match, I'll be in shock. Point might have some moments. They have some 1 or 2 good players, but you know, a fella called Niles who dribbles well. Another fellow whose name I can't forget up front. I can't remember up front. You know. The goalkeeper is not that bad. But no, it should be an easy match for AC Port of Spain. So there you have it. One more. Let's just review this very quickly. Friday, Sando versus Central. Central should have the edge on that one. Defence Force versus Cali. Defence Force should have the edge on that one. Then on Saturdays, Police versus Eagles. Should be an easy match for Police. Prisons versus Rangers. Well, Rangers logically have the edge, but Prisons has some bad minds, so let's see what happens. And on the Sunday at the Ato, Samoa versus Phoenix. Samoa should handle this. And something wrong if EC doesn't beat Point. They need a Calput. Alright, so that is this week's upcoming matches. Those are my predictions. Feel free to go down there and share your predictions. If you live in the area, go down to a match, support your local Ttpfl, help the PFL make some money, help the players and the clubs make some money. If you're abroad like me, Wave TV has been doing a wonderful job over the last few weekends of bringing PFL football to us. They usually get about 350 to 450 people live, well over 6,000, 10,000 hits, well over, about a day later. Wave TV continues to do this without advertising revenue. Yet, I am yet to see the Ttpfl mention Wave TV on their Facebook page or anywhere. You could mention Sportsmax. You could mention Sportsmax when they're not even bringing a match. But you cannot recognize Wave TV. It's a bit disrespectful. For us living abroad, God bless Wave TV. Wave TV. Get something on Weave. So that is it. That's my Ttpfl report. I hope you guys like it. Thank you for listening. Leave your predictions down below. Let me know what you think the clubs are going to do. If you like, click like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening. God bless Trinidad Tobago football.